Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Today I'm going to be winter sowing some lavender, bee balm, and echinacea. Winter sowing basically just means, for perennials that need to the seeds need to sit over winter before they'll bloom in the spring. It's mimicking that. It's letting you start the seeds literally outside, but yet in a protected situation so that the harder outer shell can toughen or loosen up, over time, break it down. The temperature changes are what does it, getting warmer and cooler and freezing and warmer and all that good stuff. It's mid-February here. I'm in zone 7A. So this just kind of guarantees that they'll get going and have the best start possible. You can also winter sow seeds in the fridge by just putting them on like a damp paper towel, sticking them in a Ziploc and hoping for the best. I just find that having them already potted up, ready to go in the spring is a lot easier. Also, for some perennials that don't bloom the first year, like Echinacea, it says right on here, blooms in 365 days, right? So like it needs a whole season. When you winter sow, you sort of mimic that like cycle. And there's a shot, you might get some flowers the first year. I don't know, maybe. So we're gonna try. These are going in my herb garden along with like oregano, parsley, sage, thyme, rosemary, all the good stuff. And then near there, I will have lavender and bee balm. I already have some. My lavender bush is doing really, really well. I just want more. I use it for so much stuff. I dry these sticks into like bundles. There's mint in here too. Smells really good. Collect the blooms to use. Oh, they just smell so good for lots of things like medicinal honey. My son and I sat here 2 months ago, like December. Had a warm day, went out and harvested a bunch of lavender, and that is also where I got the seeds. So these are fresh seeds from my own garden. I try to do that wherever possible because I feel like they have the most chance of success. So winter sowing basics: dirt, clear container, holes, outside. That's it. I'm using seed starting mix. It is this one, Coast of Maine. Never used it before. I normally use a totally inert seed starting mix, so it's literally just like coconut coir, peat moss, vermiculite. Like there's no nutrients. You have to add them. This stuff has nutrients, mycorrhizae, like all the good stuff. So really good for winter sowing because it's just gonna go in soil. So it's like mimicking what they're already doing, and I don't have to fertilize them, so double bonus. I have 6 cells here in this really fancy container. These are from Cinnabuns from Aldi. These Cinnabuns are now over there on the table for my kids' breakfast, and I'm just using this. I poked holes in here, you can see them. I just made X's with a utility knife and then very carefully poked through for a little bit of air, also to let water in. You want to just kind of keep this damp, right? And then I have them labeled. I'm super, again, fancy. I'm really fancy here. Broken in half craft sticks with my labels. Sometimes the ink will wear off. I use these, however, because they're cheap, and then at the end of the season, you just compost them, which is great. So a trick that I do is when I put them down, I keep them in the container, and in left to right, I do alphabetical order. So we have bee balm, echinacea, lavender. As long as I remember what I put in here, I'll know the order. And once they start blooming, you can start to tell the difference, but until then, you cannot. I have already pre-filled this, pre-moistened them a little bit. I'm just gonna mist the tops now. Also, just as like a tip while I'm doing this, if you ever watch people doing gardening videos and you're like, they make it look so quick and easy, and then I go to do it and it takes me forever. Just to set all of this up, poke the holes. The container had Cinnabuns in it still. I had to take them out, find somewhere else to put them, wash the thing, go get my 6 cells, fill them up, pre-moisten them, break my sticks, write on them, because you don't want to watch people do all that. It took 45 minutes for setup, okay? So just know this stuff takes time. And when you watch TikTok reels or YouTube shorts or whatever, and it looks like everything is taking them 5 minutes, it's because that's just what they're filming and editing down. My 10-year-old edits my videos, so I do outsource some of my work But the rest of it, you have to do it, and it takes time. And the payoff is you have really pretty flowers and food to eat and herbs to make stuff. All right, alphabetical order, bee balm. All of these seeds have something in common, except for the echinacea. Well, not even the echinacea. They're all really, really small. So small. Painfully small. Don't drop them. You'll cry. Tiny seeds, you more or less sprinkle on the top, mist, and go. So, yes, you have to hold your breath while you're planting them and don't drop them. But then that's actually really easy because you honestly don't even need to bury them. Lavender especially really needs light to germinate, so sprinkle on the top. I'm sorry, my dog has decided he's not getting enough attention, so if you hear weird sounds coming from the living room, he's fine. Just needy. Anyone else have like a super needy dog? My goodness, no one ever told us. So like labs are such great family dogs. They absolutely are. And they have no personal space, 0 boundaries. And when they fall asleep on you, they get 5 pounds heavier with every sigh. Fact. All right, bee bomb's in. That was really easy. See, this part's quick. Some people are like, it's so fast. Sure. If you only film the fast part. So this is one of my like first videos I'm putting up here. I have a couple in other places, but I'm really just trying to concentrate to YouTube for now. Couple random things. I have been gardening for real since COVID. That was our like COVID hobby, just like everyone else probably. And we built this really big, cool garden, but we started with a teeny tiny little one on the side of the house that was in full shade because of our neighbor's massive, massive oak tree. So I had alpine strawberries in there and they did really well. And then over the summer, it's a big old stick in here. I'm just gonna pop that out. You don't want big old sticks. Actually though, forget it. I was gonna use it to poke a hole, but I forgot. Saved my other half craft stick. Anyway, that tree fell down this summer. So that garden bed is destroyed, and it was our very first one, so it's sad because we built it ourselves. But then we mimicked it into a massive like 25-foot garden on the side of the house that gets full sun. So we have an awesome space now for our fruits and veggies, and that's been there for a couple of years already. But since this side garden is now a full sun garden, the alpine strawberries aren't going to be as happy. They like it cool. So I'm going to be moving those. Not this weekend, but next weekend. It's supposed to be pretty warm. So I think I'm going to do that then. We're going to get rid of the old garden bed. It was just a like cheap one from Home Depot, but it cracked. And I have ordered a 17-inch tall raised bed from Team Grow. Shout out to James Prigione from my hometown, actually, so gotta respect that. And that is where I'm gonna have an herb garden. I haven't had a spot for an herb garden. I am putting 2 of these Echinacea like clumps into each cell, by the way, as I'm talking. So now I can have an herb garden. So like there's always a bright side, I guess. Room for more lavender now, room for another bee balm. So all good stuff. And I will be filming that. My husband will be helping me, you know, kind of do everything we need to do to get that new garden in place. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, it's kind of interesting because it'll be, you know, coming full circle. But like I was saying, been gardening for a while now. Try to do mostly square foot gardening because I want to pack as much stuff into a small space as possible. We don't have a big yard, so you have to do what you can, right? If you don't have a big yard, square foot gardening is great. Vertical gardening is awesome. Containers and hanging baskets everywhere. Anywhere you can fit them, there is a way. I also don't like spending money. I try to grow food to save money. Which my neighbor loves to remind us of. The very first year we put up the garden, he would come home from the grocery store and yell how cheap his tomatoes were. Just to kind of rub it in that like this isn't really saving money, but I'll show him. Year 5, let's go. Finally starting to turn the corner of, I don't want to say profit, that's not the right word. Savings? Sure. But the more you learn to do with it, the more you can, the more you preserve, the more you like make stuff out of it. The better. All right, this lavender stresses me out. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's so impossibly small. And I have still like the buds in here because we just got so lazy. I was like, just take them off and I'll separate the seeds when I plant them. Smart, right? My quote unquote trick, it's not really a trick, is I just kind of press my finger just a little and then sprinkle right on top and hope they land in the soil and hope they don't blow out. You also have to hope your hands are a little clammy or oily, which mine always are. You needed to know that. You really did. All right, couple more in here. Then we're gonna mist the whole thing. I'm gonna weigh down this container around the outside with some rocks, which if your kids are like mine, if you have kids, you always have rocks. They're everywhere. So they won't be hard to come by. I'm gonna tape it shut around the edge just so the squirrels don't get in there and turn it over. That's another reason to kind of weigh it down too. And I'm gonna put them outside actually in my garden because it's protected. So it has a gate, it has fencing, it has a little roof, so the squirrels can't get in there, but it's like double protection. So if you didn't have that, that's, you know, I'm still gonna do all those things. I'm still gonna weight it down so it doesn't blow around. Because, you know, the air still gets in there and it's really windy here lately, like 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts windy lately. And I don't want it blowing over because these seeds, especially the lavender and the bee balm, sit on top. The echinacea, they're a little bit bigger because they're in their little pods. And I'm too lazy to break them out. So I kind of poke them down a touch. Mist so gently. Stay where you are. The bee balm seeds are nice because they're lighter in color, so you can actually see them. The lavender is the exact color of the dirt. Is it in there still? Hope so. Okay. Some of these can be like notoriously hard to germinate. A lot of people have so much trouble with lavender. But it's because, you know, you have to figure out if you have things that need that cold stratification. And if they do, this method works awesome. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this outside, put some rocks in the bottom. I'm gonna tape up the edge a little bit. I'm gonna stick it in my garden and I'm not gonna worry about it. If it snows, a great thing that you can do is come by and stick some snow across the top to keep it watered. You don't really wanna let it dry out, so you do have to go outside and check it if it's in a spot that's not gonna get a ton of water, because this is gonna be in my garden covered. It's not gonna get a lot of rain. We have a little bit of a pile of snow outside, so before I set it down, I'm actually gonna cover that. And then we just wait for them to start popping out and then transplant them in the spring like you would anything else. What I plan to do is, of course, show the video of getting that new garden set up, putting all this stuff in there. I already have all of the other seeds downstairs under my grow light sprouting, things that just don't need the cold stratification. Some of them grow better on a heat mat, some don't, so I have two different setups down there. And then I'm also planning, like, all throughout the summer to show just like what I do with this stuff, because like tomatoes, you eat them. Like, that's kind of a no-brainer. But a lot of people maybe don't know the best way to use up excess herbs, or, you know, things like taking the sticks and making like smoke bundles, or making medicinal honeys out of them, making teas, making tasty desserts and stuff that you can use all of these things for beyond just seasoning food. So I kind of want to cover that, how I dry them, how I store them. I don't like to do a lot of work and I don't like to spend a lot of money. So my tips are all geared toward simplicity. I don't have an expensive dehydrator, for example. I use the air. Sometimes the oven if I'm feeling really lazy. But for the most part, you can go overboard with stuff like that and you really just don't have to. So I kind of want to show how I've been doing all of that stuff for the last 5-ish years, and hope to start a community full of other low-cost lazy gardeners like me. All right, thanks again for watching and look out for the next ones. Bye.